Hello, this is Mika, and welcome to Magical Lifestyle of a Cottage Witch. I'm sharing some pictures of my mother's garden. She lives in New Jersey, in the Garden State, by the way. That's where I'm from. And I was so enamored with her garden that she's been building, and it's quaint, it's sweet. My mom lives in an older home in New Jersey, so it's gonna have some character, but I love her garden. And I realize I come from a line of very powerful women. They probably wouldn't identify with witches, but I feel differently. I believe that it runs in our blood. But what's in a name, right? But yeah, my mother is definitely a green witch to her heart, and I was so inspired by her in the summer solstice that I decided I wanted to add some elements to my home that were of the garden, that were fresh. I have quite a few plants in my home already, but I wanted to do something different, and I thought, why not make some garland out of lemons and blood oranges? So I'll be working on the details of that particular project in another video, but for now I'm going to go ahead and prep my blood orange and my lemon, which will eventually be some beautiful hanging garland and maybe something I put into a bowl. We'll see. But I have a couple different ideas of what I'd like to do, and it's just to bring some brightness, solar energy, because the blood orange, lemon as well, is definitely representation of the sun. And that's what I think of when I celebrate the summer solstice. I think of the sunshiny days, and just being in that type of energy, that warmth, and I want to bring that year-round into my home. So that's what this is about. Now, as far as preparing it, it's pretty simple to do this. I like to cut the fruit into as thin as I can slices. The orange slices are a little more thicker than I would prefer, but we're going to go ahead and keep it going. And I'll make the lemon slices a little thinner, gratefully. But yeah, I like to put them on paper towels on that wire rack when I'm working, just to get any excess moisture. Using a wire rack is super helpful because it can, sort of cook on a low temperature, by the way, of 250 degrees underneath as well. So you'll put that wire rack onto a baking sheet and place it in the oven for approximately 3 hours. Later, you'll see I'll set my timer for 2 hours because I'm going to want to check on it after 2 hours, and then I'll make a determination on what else needs to be done. If it looks like it's browning or something like that, I'll drop the temperature or just leave it out and let it just continue to dehydrate outside. I live in a climate that has hardly any moisture in it, so that is not difficult. I could easily place these outside as well, so that's another option. But I wanted to speed up that drying process by placing them in the oven. And again, these are just ways of bringing in the energy of the sun into my home year round. I also believe that lemons have a protective quality to them, and I also wanted to bring that into my home. Lemons are used for healing, they're used for protection as well. So why not use seasonal fruits that you can dry, that is, and bring that element into your home for dual purposes. One, it's beautiful to look at, and yes, there's some healing and protective qualities, and I want to definitely bring that into my home. And about protection magic, I have all sorts of things around my home that represent protection for the home and its inhabitants. This is a newer item here, just a witch's bottle, and you can see there's my little petition paper rolled up I placed in the bottle. But yeah, this is another tool of protection that's actively working. I'm big on witch's bottles. I'm just going to show you another one that I keep as well. This one has been here for quite some time, and I do think it has worked wonderfully for my home. And then did you know you can do crystal grids as well for protection? I like to keep this one in another area of the home, in the windowsill, and this has a lot of purposes, but protection is a big deal with this one. Witch's bells. Now I'll show you later a little bell, handheld bell, but I like to have doorbells as well. I like these on my door. They, have the pentacle here, which is definitely a sign, symbol, can be used for protection. So the key for me definitely represents working with Hecate and her protection as well. More about that and deities. But yeah, I like having those, and they sort of work like a little alarm, so to speak, if the door opens. Snake plants. Snake plants are known for their protective qualities. Ideally, you want to place it near a doorway, and it protects your home. And I have done just that. I keep this near the doorway. I love snake plants because they don't need a lot to grow. They can grow slowly, but they're wonderful plants. They're very hardy. I like to have a garden gnome out front as well to protect. And then I have another snake plant. Now this is artificial, but the representation is still there as protection. And that little house there is something I created, and it's actually has to do with the fairies that work in my home as well. Portal through, so to speak. And speaking of portals, this is my kitchen altar to Hestia, who is a hearth goddess or a house goddess. So I like to light a candle here for her for the purposes of just giving offerings. In return, she is very protective over my home and the inhabitants, and I do appreciate that. I'm very gracious, and this is a newer experience for me working with Hestia, and it's just seamless because I'm in my kitchen very often, and I enjoy being able to have the time to just light a candle for her, and in return, protection, like I said. So, and when you talk about protection against famine, protection against disease, protection against hunger, that's a thing, and I'm very blessed and grateful for her help with that. And then back to crystals. Did you know you can strategically place crystals around your home, create your own crystal grid, or just have them out? I like to do thin, narrow wall shelves, like the hanging shelf that I have in like hallways and things like that. And each crystal, I sometimes change them out, but they have protective qualities to them, or just to bring about certain energies that won't require protection. Just good vibes basically through the house, keeping the home in high vibrations. And then speaking of fairies again, so I have a fae altar, and I like to add little shiny baubles and earrings and pieces of jewelry to that tin there to protect against items that go missing for me. So that has served me well. We'll just say that, giving reverence and setting up a separate altar for the fairies and elementals. So that's been a great decision for me. And as far as other altars are concerned, or just any place that you prominently display figurines or statues that you believe or connect with as deities, saints, that are protective or protectors. That's another thing that you can do on your altars, and they can have dual purposes, protecting against things on the spiritual and potentially the physical as well. So definitely add that. Jars or as well, or in bottles and all that sort of stuff. And you can see there's another fairy making an appearance there. And also sigils, if I haven't said that as well. Sigils are great for protection. So as you can see, I prominently have those things displayed on my working altar. And then the more common ways of protection: smoke cleanse. So I am lighting some loose herbs on a charcoal disc for the purposes of protection. Now, protection of the home, protection of the space, protection of your ritual. Right now I'm sitting in sacred space, so I would want to use either incense or loose herbs to purify the space and also protect whatever work that I'm doing from anything that may mean me harm. The other thing that you definitely can do is, because those are loose herbs, but please, by all means, you can have a sage bundle or a herb bundle, I should say. Ideally, you want to walk around the home with that. I'm just showing you here what that looks like. And again, a handheld bell. You can use that and go room to room, disturb any stagnant energy, which is also protecting the energy in the home as well. So these are all just some of the ways that I go about protecting my home. Some things are probably very familiar, other things maybe not so much. But I do appreciate you watching. Please don't forget to like this video, subscribe if you haven't already. I offer services including readings and mentorship at my website, leaptaken.com. You can check out that website and let me know in the comments if you have any questions about protection magic, hearth magic, or cottage witchery. Thanks again. Bye.